My name is Hazel Mullisham and this is the Light on Leeds podcast. The guest on this episode is Enya Lucas. She is the director of a production of a play called Scarborough that was written by Fiona Evans in 2006. She talks about the nature of the play because it's quite controversial, but I'll let her explain that, about being part of Leeds Arts Centre and what that's meant to her, the role of being a director, how she got into this whole thing. And yeah, it's a really interesting conversation and I'm very much looking forward to going and seeing the play myself. It's called Scarborough. It's on at the Carriageworks Theatre and that's from the Wednesday 8th of March to Saturday 11th of March. As usual, there'll be lots of notes in the podcast notes so that you can click through and get yourself a ticket. Enjoy! On this episode of the Light on Leeds podcast, I have Enya Lucas who has come to speak to me. Hello, Enya.
Hi.
Thank you very much for connecting with me. So, Enya, you are the director of a production of a play called Scarborough, and that is part of Leeds Arts Centre. Can you tell me, first of all, a little bit about Leeds Arts Centre and how you got involved with that?
Yeah, so Leeds Arts Centre are an amateur theatre group based in Leeds. They were formed, they're a very old company, formed in 1945, and they have a great history of putting on hard-hitting plays, fun plays, lots of Shakespeare, and I have just added to their list of many plays. We like to put on 4 plays a year at the Carriageworks Theatre.
Yep.
With my play Scarborough. This is the first time that I've been directing, actually. But Leeds Arts Centre are actually a registered charity. So everything that we do, everyone involved in it is our volunteers, and all of the money that we have from ticket sales goes straight back into the company so that we can keep putting on shows.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. And so how long have you been involved? Has that been quite a while? And did you start with acting? How does it work?
Yeah, so I think I've been involved 6 years now, and I started acting with them. I did lots of acting at school, and then when I started in the world of work in Leeds, I kind of wanted an activity, a hobby to do again, and I went back to my love of acting, which I've always had, and I've always loved watching live theatre too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I just did a Google search and found Leeds Arts Centre, went along to one of their play readings and just got to know the group and immediately made lifelong friends, which for me is been such an amazing takeaway. But yeah, Leeds Arts Centre then helped make me grow. So I performed with them about 3 or 4 times on stage. I've played a 13-year-old little girl. I've played in Steel Magnolias.
Oh, great.
Some, really different and diverse shows. Even Hamlet, we also have performed in. I was guard number 1. But I suppose I've just so much enjoyed working backstage as well. And Leeds Arts Centre this summer put on a summer festival with a collection of lots of short stories, short plays, and just asked their members to come and perform something more like quite an extensive open mic night.
Right.
So and I found this play Scarborough. And that's where this all started, really.
And can I ask you, how different is the role of director? And is it was it you who chose this play?
Yeah, I chose to put the play on. However, my friend recommended the play to me. And to be honest, she just explained the concept to me, and I didn't even read the whole script, and I was already bought in. I was like, yeah, this is going to be the one that I direct. And I had been thinking, well, to be honest, actually, when I first started acting with Leeds Arts Centre, I thought I would never direct. I thought that was way beyond my limits and skills. And during lockdown and speaking to friends, I just was really encouraged by them who have also directed in Leeds Arts Centre. And they were like, you can do it, definitely. So I suppose that peer support just gave me this confidence to be able to put on this piece. And
And
the other,
how would you
yeah.
describe your role as a director?
Oh, okay. So my role as the director is more just like the captain steering the ship.
Right.
Um, I just see myself as a spokesperson, and I like to instill lots of ideas during the rehearsal process, and everyone brings something to the table, and then I just pick out the bit which I think will work the best. To be honest, directing is actually a lot of listening. I just listen to a lot of what my cast are saying and what they're thinking about the character, see what they're performing, and then I pull out what was good and what I think could be improved. And then suddenly we have a piece of theatre. It's a very exciting process, which if you haven't done it, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, I can
How
imagine.
yeah.
And so when you sort of, taking in influence and inspiration from the people that you're working with, I suppose as a director as well, you kind of have to have a vision of the end product as well.
Mm. It's interesting you say that, because in my rehearsal yesterday, I thought the vision would work, and yesterday finally I saw it all together. The two halves of the play came together.
Yeah.
So you have to really fill your boots with confidence to be able to stick with your guns and say, no, I think this vision is going to work. But do you want to know more about my vision and
Yeah, of course,
describe
yeah.
maybe what the play is?
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
great because I've done a little bit of reading,
Yeah.
and it is quite sort of a controversial
Mhm.
subject matter. So obviously, I don't want you to give too much away because we want to encourage people to come and see the play. But yeah, if you could just give a little synopsis of the kind of thing that Scarborough is
Yeah.
about.
Okay. So Scarborough looks firstly at a couple who have gone away for a weekend in Scarborough. It's the Easter bank holiday weekend, actually. And when you're watching these two characters, it suddenly becomes very clear that this is actually a very abusive relationship and one of control. Because the female, is actually a teacher, and she's having a relationship with her young male student.
Yeah.
So this is in many ways a deep dive into some very abusive relationships, and just shining a lens, I suppose, on how in reality these kind of interactions can take place. What is the teacher thinking? Do they really think that they're doing something wrong, even though it's very illegal? So that's the first half. And the writer, Fiona Evans, put this piece on at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in about 2006. And it was such a hit. She won so many awards for it that it then was asked that she could bring it to the West End.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of diving in more into these first two characters, instead what she decided to do was look at what would happen if she switched the genders of those two characters. So instead it was a male teacher and a female student.
Yeah.
And that's what the second half is. It's actually a complete copycat of the script. The script does not change from the first half to the second half. All that changes is the names of the people and their genders. So it's a very tricky concept as a director, because I've got the same. It's how it's how do I ask the characters and actors to deliver the same lines but in such a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's the
fascinating.
story.
And I imagine do people have, well, I don't know if you'll know this yet, but maybe through your through rehearsal procedure, does it have a very different feel, the swapping of the genders?
Yes, and I suppose that's what I was hinting at. Yesterday was the first time I brought my two the two different couples together, and we saw their scenes back to back. And my vision was always to deliver them very differently. Each one of these people are 4 different characters, 4 different histories we've developed behind them. And I really wanted to play on maybe the audience's ingrained biases to what they believe about. Do they feel more sorry for a female victim versus a male victim, or do they have are they like more annoyed about a male teacher abusing their student, or do they like, oh, the female teacher must just be really in love? So I saw my role and my vision was to just plainly put these relationships out for view to the audience, and then the audience can take away how that has changed their perception, or maybe how it's affected them.
Sounds really interesting. And so the play itself doesn't really make a value judgment on the relationships. The idea is that the audience makes that decision themselves.
It's a really good question, because I think when I first looked at the script, I thought, no, definitely it's up to the audience. The writer isn't saying whether or not it's a bad relationship, but actually on reflection, and as I go deeper and deeper into the script, she definitely brings out and highlights that the characters talk about how they may get, they know that it's wrong. They know that they may get arrested, that they may lose their job. And I suppose in actual fact, what's happened is more, it doesn't make a judgment on whether or not something's right or wrong. Instead, it just presents really authentically what these relationships could be like. Like if you could imagine a student who's infatuated with a teacher, what would be happening in that relationship? Would the teacher be taking advantage of them? And when they are just them two alone in a hotel room in Scarborough, what kind of conversations would happen? And I think what Fiona Evans did, the scriptwriter, is just put it quite plainly how people can end up in these situations. And there's a big twist, which I definitely don't want to give away.
No, definitely not.
And I suppose from when the audience sees that twist, I think it will kind of all slot into place what the writer is trying to get at.
Well, it just sounds absolutely intriguing. And so for people at home, I'll obviously I'll put this in the podcast notes, but when can people see this play?
So we perform at the Carriageworks Theatre, which is in the city centre of Leeds at Millennium Square. And we have 5 shows starting on Wednesday the 8th of March to Saturday the 11th of March. And we actually on the Saturday have a matinee show and then an evening show. So yes, I will give you the link, but the Carriageworks website has all the dates and times.
Fantastic. And because of your experience through all of this, Enya, is directing something that you're keen to have a go at again?
Yes, definitely. I also have had so many good role models of great directors in LAC that I just want to keep putting on different plays, and now I'm trying to think about what I want to do next. I love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I love the hard-hitting plays.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not going for anything particularly easy.
No.
So Enya, can I ask you, have you lived in Leeds always, or are you quite a newcomer to Leeds?
So I have lived in Leeds probably about 7 years now. I've just bought a house, so I'm here to stay.
Oh,
but I'm a southerner who's infiltrated the northern ranks.
You've been adopted.
Yeah. I was born in Plymouth and grew up all along the south coast. Then I went to uni in Manchester, and apparently all of my life decisions are determined by Google, but I just searched in Google best cities to live in the UK, and it came up with Leeds, Manchester, and Nottingham. And I'd
Oh,
done
wow.
Manchester for 4 years, so I thought, let's do Leeds. and
And would you say that Google gave you the right decision then?
yeah, I think so. I definitely. Well, as soon as I got off the train here, I'd never been here, and I just was like, I'll come for a day trip over from Manchester on that lovely Transpennine route. And as soon as I got off the train, I just had a different feel here. I think it, not to get too political, but it just felt really lefty. It felt really welcoming and lefty in that way, which you don't often get down south. So,
Oh, well, that's really nice to hear, obviously, for the city of Leeds. And because you've been here for 7 years and you've spoken so eloquently about it, that would suggest to me that you are a perfect candidate for me to ask you the 3 questions that I ask every guest. So the first one would be, what would you say, even though you may have touched on it already, but what would you say is the greatest thing about the city of Leeds?
for me, it's the people. And I don't know if it's just for the circle that I'm in, but everyone feels very creative. Yeah, Leeds Arts Centre is the best thing, and I love having new members join the society. Um, and yeah, we're a real backbone of the city, which has been here for a long time. We
Yeah,
actually had our 75th birthday recently, so that
oh
was
wow! It just sounds like a really great way to meet people when you move into a new city. It sounds like a great way to sort of socialise and get yourself involved in city life. Really,
yeah, definitely, and just develop skills which are just so out of normal working life.
yeah.
To be able to do some lights in a theatre, to be able to build some set. I've got a team of 25 people behind me, including my cast, and
Wow.
most of those have all just, this is the first time they've been working backstage in a play. So, yeah, that's such a big thing for me for Scarborough, and one of the main reasons actually that I decided to do it. Not only because I love the script and I think it will be such a thought-provoking pieces for audience, but also I wanted to like build the skills in our society. Yeah, big
Yeah,
one for
that's
me.
great. Absolutely fabulous. And so I suppose every production is a learning curve for at least part of the people involved, which is a great opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. We welcome newcomers to keep building, and also, yeah, if you feel like you don't know anything about theatre, then we love training people too.
Fantastic. And if you had to choose something, what would you say is something that is not so great about the city?
Oh, that it's landlocked. I
That's a really good one. That's the one that I always go for. It's just not close enough to the sea.
It's not, and people say Yorkshire has a coast, Scarborough, but
Yeah, exactly.
it's an hour and a half away on a good day. So yeah, I was born by the sea and have lived looking at the ocean for a long time. So I miss that definitely. And when I go
Yeah,
down to my
I know what you
parents,
mean. I went to sixth form in Scarborough, and I used to live in Malton, so it was only ever, sort of 40 minutes away. So, yeah,
um,
living in Leeds, it's the only thing that I would say is a bit difficult. Although I must say that until the end of March, I don't do adverts, and I'm not getting paid by anybody to say this, but I just think it's really useful to know. The Yorkshire Coastliner, every single trip is only £1. So you can get
mm,
all the way to Whitby and back, which has been voted one of the most beautiful scenic bus routes in England, for £1 there and £1 back. It's a long journey, but it's a beautiful trip.
for sure. Me and the cast have talked about what would happen. What would happen to the characters in my play when they come back from this weekend away in Scarborough? Will they be sat in a car? Will one person be on a bus coming back? And yeah, if you do come see the play, I'll be really intrigued of how you think we managed to replicate this hotel in Scarborough, because I've tried to really go realism
Oh,
and
yeah.
and bring the audience in.
I will definitely look out for that because I do feel like I know Scarborough quite well. So yeah, I'll be checking. I'm sure you've done a great job. And if somebody had been a resident of Leeds for a long time, Enya, would you be able to tell them about something that you would consider to be a hidden gem, but that they might never have heard of?
Yeah, I think it's Meanwood Woods. Meanwood Park and Woods. So it's this area between like Headingley and Chapel Allerton in the north of Leeds, where actually there's quite extensive woods that you can walk around for hours, and it even has a river running along the bottom of it. I spent many an hour there walking in lockdown, and continue to now. So yeah, that's what I would recommend.
That's a great one, and yeah, I would second that. I haven't done all of it, but I've been and done walks on parts of it, and it really is beautiful. And there's lots of nice little sort of interesting things that crop up and little views that you wouldn't expect.
Yes, there are, and you can even, and then it's so peaceful. You're like, you don't really realise that you're still in the city. You walk a few yards, and then suddenly you're out onto a main road. It's quite intriguing.
Yeah, it really is. I think it comes up quite a lot, but I think as well it's one of the great things about living in Leeds is that, you know, you're living in a really bustling city with lots of great stuff going on all the time and lots of culture and things, but then you don't have to go very far. And even within the city itself, there's lots of little sort of enclaves of quiet and peace and quiet that you wouldn't expect to see in such a big city.
For sure.
So those are some great choices, and I always ask guests if they have a Leeds-based band or musician that they would like to feature a track by, and you have chosen Girl on a Hill by Duncan Evans. Can you explain to everybody what the song's like and why you went with that one?
Yeah, so Duncan is such a great songwriter and has actually done some scores for plays that we've been in. So he's done like the background music for lots of theatre. And this song I just think is so melodic and beautiful. I want everyone to listen to it. And I also, want to plug that he's just released a new album and has a gig on the 4th of February at Seven Arts.
So, well, I am actually going to that gig with a mutual acquaintance of both of ours, Camilla. I've not heard of him before, but I looked him up on Bandcamp, and it's really interesting music.
For sure, and yeah, he's such a great composer. So dive into his back catalogue. This is one of his old ones, but it's definitely one of my favourites.
Yeah, I'll put lots of links in the podcast notes so people can click through and find out about his work and turn up at his gig if there are tickets left. So, Enya, can I ask you, what will you be doing with the rest of your day today? Are you working? Have you still got lots to do for the play? How's everything going with that?
Yeah, so the rest of the day, I will just be finishing off some emails at work and then going for a nice meal at Cat's Pajamas in Headingley.
Lovely.
Very nice. Yeah, so I'll see a friend and have a nice catch up with her. But yeah, lots of play stuff at the weekend. So we'll be going to be doing our light design. So I'll be in the Carriageworks on Saturday. And yeah, lots of costume searching through charity shops. So that will involve my next couple of days.
That sounds like I know it's a lot of work, but it sounds like a really enjoyable thing to be engaged with. I wish you lots of luck with the production. I'm really looking forward to seeing it myself. You've made it sound really intriguing, especially with the twist at the end. I can't wait to find out what that is. And thank you so much for coming along and giving me your time, Enya.
Superb. Thanks so much, Hazel. Bye.
I really enjoyed speaking to Enya. It was very interesting to hear about how she got involved, about all of the complexities of putting on a play like Scarborough. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it myself. And she chose to feature as her song Girl on a Hill by Duncan Evans. It's a really beautiful song, and he's a very interesting artist that I've recently discovered myself. I will again put lots of links in the podcast notes so that if you want to go along and see him perform in a couple of weeks' time, you will be able to do so. Have a great week, Leeds. Keep looking after each other and stay happy. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Tempt you she will, but they say you won't leave with your life. They say you won't leave with your life. If you should go there, she'll invite you in, but they say don't pass through the door. She'll rip out your eyes and make hope as he implies. She'll leave the rest there on the floor. She'll leave the rest there on the floor. She says, come in and lie on my pillow. Be what you want me to be. What we do need love that is true, and you'll find no love truer than me. Some say coincidence, some call it fate, and this fortune runs with the lights. And I'm honestly told that her heart is so cold, she could turn all the oceans to ice. She could turn all the oceans to ice. She said, come in and lie on my pillow. Be what you want me to be. We do need love that is true, and you'll find no love truer than me. They tell me she's been there for 300 years. She's been mesmerized on the phone. Vampires and dreams and despotic regimes. She masterminded them all. She masterminded them all. She said, come in and lie on my pillow. Be what you want me to be. We do need love that is true, and you'll find no love truer than me. She said, come in and lie on my pillow. Be what you want me to You find no